Need a high-tech all-in-one engine hoist? We've got it. Need brackets and bolt-ons to upgrade? Got them. Want a gooseneck hitch to tow your new hot rod? You bet. All next on Motorhead Garage.
Welcome to Motorhead Garage, and boy, we got something for you today. You know, if you've been building your street rod motors or a race engine for that matter, you know what it's like when you have to mount some of the accessories on there, like your alternator or your power steering pump or whatever. Go in, you start cutting up brackets, mounting things, trying to get the belts to line up. Well, KRC has that problem solved for you. And what we have here is a little Ford 302 crate motor, and this is set up if you're going to be running, say, like asphalt or on your street rod. They already have their brackets set up for you and the belt, so all you have to do is bolt it on. Got the alternator here, power steering unit already mounted here, makes it real easy. Now, if you're doing some racing, especially if you're going to do some dirt racing, they've got a real neat deal for you back here. They can take and mount your alternator here in the back. They have their brackets all set up so you can drive this right off of the back of the crankshaft. Also driving the oil pump off here, and you can put a fuel pump here on the back of it if you need to, but this puts some weight back toward the center of the car, makes it a lot better for racing. Over here we have a 604 Chevrolet crate motor, and once again, they have this all set up here in the front for the Chevys. They got their alternator mounted up here with their nice bracket, their power steering pump mounted down here, and in this particular case, they even have the water pump that can come with it. It's all been milled, so everything fits perfectly, makes it a lot easier for you. Now, something else, especially on these Chevys, that you got to look for is trying to get some heat and get the air out of the water system in here. What they've done is they've made up lines coming out of the back of the intake manifold, coming right on up through here, so this will not only allow the water to flow through the head, but through these lines, lets the water flow better, lets the air out of the system so it cools a lot better. Pretty nice piece from KRC. Sam's got some interesting pieces over here.
Well, what we got here, this is a Chevrolet LS series motor. This is a race engine, performance engine, and it comes all sealed up. It's got seals on the intake manifold bolts, front cover, oil pan, so the teams can't get in and mess with it. 525 to 529 horsepower out of the box. As you can see, KRC power steering pumps. They've got a nice water pump set up that's special made, alternator, all the pulleys. The belt alignment is perfect. They even have a belt tension gauge. And KRC power steering makes a nice breather setup with baffles in it that bolts right onto these bungs that are welded on this valve cover that come from GM. Again, this is for an asphalt racer. If you're dirt racing, like Dave said, look at the setup with the power steering pump and the alternator can be on a beautiful set of brackets back here. You can see it's got a cog-toothed belt drive. It's a great way to go. And again, a nice engine. If you Ford guys want to do something for your Ford, 302 Bosch crate Coyote motor. Now, if you're going to put this in a Fox body Mustang, or you're going to put it in a street rod, you need to have a power steering pump, a hydraulic pump, not electric. So KRC power steering's got beautiful pulleys, all machined, this is all billet stuff, all set up. Everything you need, so you can put this in your hot rod. And an engine like this, multicam, injected over 400 horsepower, buy the crate motor, go to KRC, dress it up right, put it in your street rod or your race car. You're done. And it's a really great setup.
All right, now for you guys out there who bought like a Chevrolet LS3 motor, a crate motor, this is the way it comes. So you got to put your accessories on there. Well, KRC has you covered on that. We got Roger Mealy here, who's got all the good stuff. Hey, Roger, welcome to the show, and I'm glad you brought some nice stuff.
Well, it looks like you could use some stuff there.
Yeah, we can. Now, one of the things we have is you've got the alternator, you got the power steering pump, you got the accessories, the pulleys, everything to make this all work.
Correct. Yes, we got the whole system.
All right, so what we have right now is, this is our power steering unit right here. This bolts on. You have all the brackets. This is a bracket that bolts on with the engine as well.
Right.
What I like about this is you can see this is all nicely machined, billet aluminum.
Yes, all billet.
Beautiful.
And that is our Pro Series pump that we designed for racing and performance from the ground up.
And you could use this for street rods as well, right?
Street rods, yes.
Very nice.
We've got it on everything.
All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to show you how to bolt this up. We're going to take a short break. We got a lot more coming here on Motorhead Garage.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by Low Car Performance Products, is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. Flowmaster, the exhaust technology company. OPG, the world's largest source for GM A-body parts and accessories. Rugged Ridge, we make Jeeps rock. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Now, if you get this, what you want to do is look at the instructions before you start, but I've got the expert with me, so I'm lucky. All right, so this goes right on here, right, Roger?
Yep. The upside, there you go.
There we go. So we'll put this on, get her started. All right, now what's next? This bad boy, right?
Do that one.
Okay. So this will mount right here. So you guys make this real simple.
Yeah, we take a lot of pride in our instructions too, even though you're not using them, but they are there to use.
That's why I got you here, buddy. All right, what's next, Roger?
Okay, let's just go ahead and do the alternator next.
So we're just gonna do this whole one side, right?
Yep, let's do it all over there first.
Okay. Roger, what's the common mistake guys make a lot of times when they're installing this?
One of the problems that they can get into is having trouble getting down to getting the belt on, and we'll show a little trick here in a minute for making that easy.
Okay, so now we got the alternator on. What's next?
And we'll go with the tensioner.
You notice they got all the spacers and everything all nicely machined out. Saves you a lot of work. You don't have to stack washers.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got them all made in various sizes with a great selection of lengths.
All right, now we're cooking.
Here we go. Now there's the shoulder bolt to go in the back.
Just so we can adjust our idler. Of course, the next one is to put this idler on. Just pull it. We're in business.
We're about there.
All right, now this is the trick that guys have a lot of problems with, and that is getting the belt on right.
Right, because very often there's not enough room to get it over this pulley. So we'll show you a little trick here on this one.
All right.
Do you remember the routing?
I think I do. We'll start right here. Okay, here, hold on to that. All right, so there you go.
Okay, now, as you can see, it's usually hard here, so if you take that one off, then usually this will slide up over there,
Yeah.
and now you should be able to get that one over that.
Right, we got everything all lined up. It should go on. And there you go, folks. Easy as that. Now we've got it all done, Roger. That didn't take too long to do it.
It's not long at all, really.
And it makes a real nice unit here. And you can see KRC really did their homework on this. Now we got our alternator mounted, we got our power steering pump mounted, got our idler all set up. It makes for a real nice installation. Buddy, this engine's about ready to go.
Yeah, we can go put it in.
Hey, I want to thank you for stopping by and bringing the wonderful products with us. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got a lot more coming here on Motorhead Garage, so stick around.
This week on the Steel Rubber Products Spotlight, I have a 1960 Corvette. And you know, there's kind of an old joke about Corvettes. Everybody wants a Corvette till they drive one, because these weren't real drivable back in the day. But Larry Burchett has fixed that, haven't you?
This is our third car to build with one of these chassis. And we're able to take these cars out on the road and just have loads of fun. Very dependable, they stop good, they handle well. I have no question about whether I can make any Corvette that's out on the road drive better and have more dependability.
It starts right at the base of the car. You've got some big billet wheels on this car, don't you?
Yes, sir. That is one of our signatures at B. Rotter Custom. I'm able to modify these automobiles so that we can put some large wheels under them and yet make them look like a stock Corvette. So there's more than just wheels and suspension going on. There's also body modifications.
You've got a ZZ4 crate engine in there, and I noticed the fuel injection too. But with all that power in a great handling car like this, it's still got to stop. And you've done a little tweak on the brakes, haven't you?
A couple of years ago, looking for better braking systems and smaller master cylinders and powered assist systems, we found a company in California called ABS that came up with a electric over hydraulic system. Now, it's not a hydrovac system. It's a lot smaller than that. It's a good-looking system, it's quiet, and it actually works. So if I'm going down the road and my engine dies, I still have power disc brakes. You know, when you have four-wheel disc brakes, it's kind of hard to stop them without power. And we've always had trouble with especially these Corvettes, getting a power booster on it with larger motors. I put larger motors in a lot of these cars. This one just happens to be a kind of a standard ZZ4.
Well, I'll tell you what, Larry and I could go on and on forever, but I think I'm going to stop now. We'll see you next week.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Low Car Performance Products, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, folks, we have a real treat for you right now. This is something that doesn't happen that often here on Motorhead Garage, and that is we get to do an introductory type of a tool. And this is one that is being developed by James Ranson here of American Engine Hoist. And this isn't on the market yet, but it's going to be soon, isn't it, Jim?
Yes, sir.
And what I like to think of it is sort of like one-stop shopping here for you engine guys out there who have to pull an engine and put it on an engine stand.
I started as a mechanic over 40 years ago, been using them ever since. Got tired of getting hurt, wanted to work smarter and show off what I can do.
What Jim's done here is he's combined an engine lift that he's designed himself along with an engine stand. Now, some of the things I've noticed on here, first of all, you've got a lot of different ways of pulling out an engine, haven't you?
Every now and then come into a situation where I had too much chain under the end of my boom, dropping it back on the floor. If that's where I started, I'd have to drop it on a bench, choke up my chain. And there's been times when I've choked up too much chain and I haven't been able to get the angle out of the hoist.
Well, you've taken care of that. You've put a lot of different advantages on this. And one of the things I noticed here is you've put a winch right up here. So you can do fine adjustment with that. You don't have to keep raising the arm up and down, right?
That's right.
And now you also have another winch right here, again, for fine adjustments. Tell me why you put that on there. And that's adjustable, too. That'll slide up and down.
Yes, sir. If you need to put a motor mount in and you need to lift just one side, you can just take the cable down, attach it to a bolt, lift that side up, and make the adjustments that you need.
And, of course, you have your chains here mounted right here on our engine. And we've got our engine up here. It's easy to pull out. Let's go ahead and show them how easy it is to slide this in. Of course, one of the things you want to do is make sure you get this as even as you can so it will slide into your hole. And we may have to raise it. There we go. And it should just slide right in there. You want to go ahead and just pump it up just a little bit there. There we go. Just a little bit more, and there we go. It's that easy. Now, you got to remember, sometimes on these engine lifts like this, these hydraulic jacks tend to bleed down once in a while if they've been used a lot. But anyway, you can see how easy it was to slide that in, and it makes it pretty handy. Also, something else you have on this engine lift, you notice you got your blocks here with your engine plate. You can drill different holes here for different bell housing.
Correct.
Now, tell me about these aluminum blocks.
Well, I've put clutch packages together. I've put flywheels on. This gives me the room between the back of the block, back of the crankshaft, and the rotator plate to put my flywheel on. Most people have to drop it on the floor or put it on a bench, lock the crank up in order to tighten the flywheel bolts down. And this way, I can put it on without having to put it on the floor, move it around any more than I have to.
Oh, that makes it a pretty handy unit there. Now, one other thing that he has on here that I've never seen before, and that is a little video camera here. And show us how this works, Jim.
It's just held on by a magnet that keeps it in place. I can move it around. I can show the car. I can show the engine compartment that it's going into. And then I can move it down, take a picture of the motor, It's all on the laptop back here.
Building an engine for a guy, and they want to see what's going on, all they have to do is log on and they can watch it in real time, right?
Correct.
Or you can record it, give them a DVD of it, and they can play it back. And you've even helped a guy out in the field with this, haven't you?
Correct.
Tell me about that story.
I built a motor for a guy that ran asphalt, and he mentioned that he was going to go to a dirt track later on in the season. And I told him that he's going to need a camshaft degreed and ready to go in order to be competitive down there when he got there. He called me from the track and he told me, he says, well, they said run what you brung, and you've gone to races after hearing that, and things didn't go right. I asked him if he had his laptop with him. He opened it up and got a signal, and I went through the steps of degreeing the camshaft on the stand while he was 300 miles away, and then I could watch him to make sure that he was doing it properly.
So there you go. Now that's a pretty handy way of doing things. And this is pretty decent. You got a toolbox on the back of it. You got them all wired up so you can hook a computer into it. Got it with your video camera. And you even have a power supply down here. So you're pretty self-contained with this unit in your shop, aren't you?
You can broadcast with a wireless network from any place, tracks, car shows, anything like that. You can set it up. You can broadcast live.
That's pretty good. Well, Jim, I want to thank you for stopping by. And if you want more information about this, all you have to do is go on their website, AmericanEngineHoist.com, and he'll have all the information there for you. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got a lot more here on Motorhead Garage. On this week's Industry Update, we're featuring an exhaust system from Flowmaster. And Sam, you've got a dually, right?
That's right.
You got a nice Duramax?
Yep.
What's it got on it?
It's got single exhaust. If you have a 2011 to a 2013 Duramax with a long bed, anything but a standard cab, Flowmaster's got you covered.
There you go. And what they have is you can convert it over to a dual exhaust system, and they have all the stuff here you need to do it.
Right. It's 409 stainless. You go to the back of the DPF, and here's your adapter. You put this as your inlet, again, 4 inches. You got 2 coming out, and you have all the piping with the hangers welded on them.
And when you're talking about the DPF, what do you talk about, my friend?
That's the diesel particulate filter.
There you go. I knew he would come up with that. Anyway, you got all the pipe to go with it. It'll go together nicely, and of course, you can finish this off very nicely with these polished tips.
Yeah, polished stainless tips. You can see they got the air in there that keeps the exhaust temperature down because they are high. Flowmaster's got you covered to make your Duramax look great.
Sure do. And if you want a lot more information about this, all you have to do is go to their website.
This edition of Motorhead Garage, presented by Low Car Performance Products, is being brought to you by Mag High Tech. Depend on Mag High Tech when you're pulling a heavy load. Apple Hill 4x4. There's no job we can't do. Arnott. Engineered to ride, built to last. Exoto. The fountain of youth for your vehicle. And by Tracker CNC, technology and experience you can trust.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, you know, if you're towing something big, gonna buy a big truck, this is a 3500 one-ton Dodge Dually, real popular truck with a Cummins in it. It'll tow a lot. So, for 2013, what Dodge decided to do was build in a cross member for a Gooseneck hitch that's available at their parts counter under the Mopar brand. Couple problems with that. One is you have a ball that comes out, and if you want to make the truck flat again for shooting some plywood in there, you got to put the ball in a bag and store it. Easy to lose. The other thing is, if you follow the instructions on the Mopar unit, you got to take the bed off. Our friends at B&W Trailer Hitches, they've been making these trailer hitches for years. Here's a nice unit. This is the model 1314. It's for the long bed and short bed dualies. And the neat part is, it works just like their turnover ball has always worked. 2 5/16 gooseneck ball, the same as the other hitches. When you're not using it, it slides back down inside and it's flush with the floor. Got the little arm on the side where you release it. And that's pretty neat. Now, there's no side rails. This whole thing comes in one box. It's real easy to install. Now, they want a 3.5-inch hole in the middle of the bed. Now, normally you had to measure this way and that way. You've seen us do them a bunch of times. Now they got a little fixture, a little jig that goes into a hole in the center of the cross member. I'll put this up there, tap it square. And that's a guide for my drill. That's the pilot drill. The hole will be perfect. Dave can drill from the top. All right, now following the instructions, this really goes in pretty easy. It's a little heavy. Take a couple of the exhaust hangers down and you can pull this pipe down, which allows you to put the cross member up. Davey passed through that nice little fixture. It locked onto the ball pin, pulled it up against it. Now that's laying up against the cross member that's welded in the truck. So to make it real easy, with B&W trailer hitches come up with these deals, they're the threaded holes, and they got a little handle on them. There is a passenger side and a driver's side. So the B&W hitch is sandwiched against the chassis. This goes on top of the chassis. These bolts come with it, and they'll go through the hitch, through the truck's chassis, into these and tighten up. And you can see they got a nice little stripe already built in them of thread locker. You tighten these down, it sandwiches everything together. It's very strong. So the bolts are going from the bottom up, not from the top down. That way you don't have to take the bed off. It's a great way to go. So I'll go ahead and put these in. These, by the way, these bolts are all flanged. They're grade 8. It's great hardware, comes with this kit. Once this is done, we'll move on. All right, now I've taken out the spare tire and the heat shield. We tried to work around it, but it's easy to take it out. There's 4 holes in this plate. One here, here, and here. 2 of them just go through the bed, 2 of them go through the cross member. What those holes are for is the U-bolt. Spring's gonna be down here. This is gonna go up in the bed for your safety chain. So let me drill this hole, and when I get these all drilled out, Davey can plop them through and I'll put the retaining nuts on the springs, we'll be done. These have locking nuts on them, by the way. You tighten it up, the nuts won't come off, and that's how those work. All I gotta do now is put my heat shield and spare tire, rehang the exhaust. We're done down here. Dave, you show them how it works up there, buddy.
These are in a little bit of a groove, so you may have to get something to lift them up. What I do is take a little tab or a little rope or something, put it on there. That way it hangs in there so you can just reach right up and pull it up easy. But you can see they're spring loaded like so. Put your safety chains in there and you're in business. Now, here's the business end right here. We'll slide this in. You drop it down like so. Run the pin in there and you're in business.
That locks it in right there.
Locks it in. Now, Sam, go ahead, unlock it. This is what really makes it nice. Flip it over, drop it like so. It's locked in. Now you can put things here in your bed. If you want to get it, all you have to do is lift it up right here, flip it around. Great piece.
And this thing is tested to haul everything this truck will haul. Don't overexceed your towing recommendations on your truck.
Makes a nice clean installation. You can put whatever you want to in here. Well, Sam, we'll go ahead and finish this thing up. In the meantime, we've run out of time. We'll see you again next time here at Motorhead Garage.